Hey, man, I'm going to need y'all to hit the like button. I'm going to tell you why. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to sell you this pen right here, right now. You ready to buy this pen? Buy the damn pen. Hit the like button. Hold on one second. We about to get to the bottom of this, ladies and gentlemen. This don't make no sense whatsoever. Welcome to the Dark Waters channel, where we explore mysteries, figure out the truth, dive into politics, and anything else you want to know about. That's what we doing over here, baby. Let's go. I'm back, and today, this evening, we're going to go into the news. Now, first of all, I want to apologize because your early morning video didn't come out till 12 noon because this morning was a lot of bouncing around dealing with stuff. But let's get to the news. And I'm going to say this. I don't know who's in charge of the Democratic Party right now. It seems like no one's in charge of the Democratic Party. But whoever's the controller of the Democratic Party is a bumbling, stumbling idiot. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You are the dumbest individual there is. The Democratic Party is running around lying about Doge and lying about Social Security, which only makes people look into it. And then when they look into it, they realize what's going on. So there's a lying spirit in their mouth, unlike anything I've ever seen. And it's benefiting us, ladies and gentlemen. So I think we need to let them keep lying because everybody's seeing the truth. Here's Caroline Lovett talking about the fact that Elon Musk and Doge have been sent to investigate dead people receiving Social Security payments. They have been sent, S-E-N-T, to investigate dead people receiving Social Security payments. S-E-N-T, sent. Words are very important in the context of what's going on. And that means that we're about to find out where this fraud ring actually is.
Fake news reporters all day long here in the Washington, D.C. swamp who are trying to fearmonger the American people into believing that this administration is going after their hard-earned tax dollars and their hard-earned Social Security checks. So I want to set the record straight on your show tonight, Sean, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do so. President Trump has directed Elon Musk and the Doge team to identify fraud at the Social Security Administration. They haven't dug into the books yet, but they suspect that there are tens of millions of deceased people who are receiving fraudulent Social Security payments. And so their goal in going into the Social Security Administration is to identify three things. Number one, to identify duplicate payments and to end them. Number two, to identify payments that are going to deceased people who are no longer living and should no longer be receiving that money. And number three, to protect the integrity of this system for hardworking Americans who have been paying into it their entire lives. So rest assured to all of the people watching your show tonight, if you paid into the system, honestly, you will continue to receive your Social Security checks. Do not buy into the lies from the legacy fake news media who are trying to fear you and scare you into believing otherwise. This is what we've seen them do about President Trump for years with every promise that he has made. And he's going in there to protect your hard-earned money. That is the ultimate goal.
And the craziest thing to me is that what they do to their own constituents and their listeners and viewers. It's like to weaponize them, you lie to them and you use psychological operations against them and literally break their brains. It's like putting a worm in their ear and letting the worm squirm in and eat away and eat holes into their brains with lies. Imagine the emotional roller coaster that the average liberal has been on. Because we forget that they told those people that Kamala Harris was going to win, that there was no chance that Donald Trump was going to win. They told those people those lies. Now, we all knew, who were paying attention, that that was all BS and lies. And the only way she would win is if there was the greatest steal ever in the history of election steals. But they go from in November having to come to the conclusion that, dang, the news media lied to me. And you would think that, I would say there was like like a week-long period where the news media tried to get it together and tried to say, oh, we need to reflect and see what we went wrong. And then they started lying all over again. And it's nothing but lies. That's why some of these people need to go to prison. I'm sorry, they need to go to prison. And this is what's happening now to the media because people are standing up to them. 911, I need to report a smurder on CNN. Host, no one is disagreeing. There is government bloat / waste. CNN has been covering it. Tim Burchett, no, you haven't. All you've been doing is running down Musk and Trump, and that's why your ratings are in the tank. And this is what people need to understand. This approach, this hardcore lambasting of the media, they have to be whipped into shape. If we don't beat them into shape, they're going to continue lying.
I've been fighting fake news reporters all day long.
You said that already, baby.
Congressman, hold on. I want to go to this question because, again, it's not a question of whether waste should be rooted out of the government. So many people agree with that. But now we're seeing.
Let me teach you that redirect. It's not about X, it's about Y. So it's not about blah, 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 but boom. So it's not about this, but this. So this is a conversation. She's redirecting away from the fact that they're finding government waste and bloating, and now she's going to go with her lie. When people redirect like that, you can always listen for it on any news station. It'll be, it's not about X, it's about Y. Or it'll be, it's not about X and this. It's not about X, but this, but Y, right? It's a classic redirect that anybody who understands neuro-linguistic programming from a journalist standpoint understands how to do it. So she's redirecting and she's going to go on the attack. Most of the time when you redirect, it's you don't want to answer a question or you want to go directly on the attack.
Congressman, hold on. I want to go to this question because, again, it's not a question of whether waste should be rooted out of the government. So many people agree with that. But now we're seeing it's the way it's being done. The government is trying to claw back several employees who oversaw nuclear weapons after they were fired. They realized, oh, we made a mistake. We need these staffers who oversee nuclear weapons. A professor at the University of Maryland, Don Kettle, who specializes in civil service, told the Washington Post that, yes, the government is likely full of wasteful bloat, but said a clumsy fix is worse than no fix at all, saying it's like going to a meat market, getting a piece of steak and trying to cut out the fat with a sledgehammer. That would only make a mess of the meat. Do you think, Congressman, that is a fair point, that the way this is being done is clumsy rather than methodical?
Again, you're upset about you're attacking the message carrier, not the results. You talk about nuclear secrets. You had a person who was in charge of nuclear secrets, a man who dressed up as a woman, would go into the airport and steal women's luggage, was overseeing those nuclear secrets under the Biden administration, and I never heard y'all say a peep about that. Again, man,
I don't know anything about that. I'll be transparent.
Elon Musk, you need to look it up. It's all over the internet. It's all over. He was in charge of nuclear secrets. But the question is, this is unrelated
to the people overseeing nuclear weapons being fired. And Elon Musk himself said, we're moving so fast, of course there will be mistakes. The question is, some of these mistakes are really high stakes. Accidentally firing people overseeing nuclear weapons. Do you see that point?
Humans will make mistakes, ma'am, but currently these are bloated programs. You have no-show employees that are angry that they're having to go back to work, that they've moved, and they're not.
No one's disagreeing. There's bloat and waste.
Jobs were.
No one's disagreeing.
Well, then why are y'all not exposing it? Have y'all even talked about, hey, Mozambique, we sent them $10 million for circumcisions? Okay. I mean, goodness gracious, ma'am. Americans are paying
we've been covering at length
salaries.
Where the money is going to.
No, you haven't. All y'all do is run down Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and you continuously do this, and that's why your ratings are in the tank, ma'am. All
right, Congressman Tim Burchett, we're going to leave it there. I do appreciate your time coming on and having this conversation. Thank you very much.
And see, that's what happens when they're not allowed to use their neuro-linguistic brainwashing mind screw jobs. They have to end the segment because he told way too much truth. And him hitting them in the throat saying, hey, this is why your ratings in the tank because you lie. They ain't trying to have none of that. But he softly he didn't really softly disclose. He disclosed the fact that, hey, you got a cross-dresser in charge of the nuclear weapons, which is crazy. I mean, I thought you had to have psychological tests to be in these positions, right? But more than that, and more importantly than that, people do make mistakes. And it's one thing for a mistake to be made. It's like if you make a mistake and you rectify the mistake quickly, it's okay in a process like this. So if he fired somebody that they needed and they hired the person back, then okay, cool. You fired the guy, you got him back, but you got rid of the rest of the people. So even that argument from CNN is a bunch of BS. Now, if you fired the person and you never hired the person back, then we got a problem. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like saying, oh, there's one guy who knows how to fix the elevator in the building, and it's a 200-year-old elevator. And he pissed off the new boss, and the new boss fired him. And I walked into the office and said, hey, boss, I know old Bob over there. He's not really polished, but Bob is the only person that know how to fix this elevator. And the boss says, well, we got to find somebody. No. You don't understand. We tried to find other people. Bob's the only one you need to hire Bob back. And then the boss is humble enough to say, well, hell, I need Bob. And he's humble enough to go get Bob. It shows character on the part of the person who fired him. And so this is the problem with the mainstream media. When you listen to their lies, it's a full-on assault on everything. So let's say Elon, which Doge made a mistake of firing the wrong person. You focus on the fact that they fired the wrong person, but you don't focus on the fact that they were humble enough to say, hey, we made a mistake and we brought the person back. That just proves to me that we got the right people in charge. Because if they were prideful people, they'd be like, man, screw that. We're going to get somebody else to do it. Because the news media sit there and say something about it. So, no. They could have just moved on and figured out somebody else to do the job. But instead, they went and got the person they needed to get. But this is the problem with them. And if you don't think through what's being said, and this is what happens to their constituents do not think through what's being said. They just listen and they take those talking points. And it's kind of like they give them ammunition to go out and argue with you. This is why, like, for example, if you need to talk to a family member about this same subject, and my family member was like, well, Trump and Musk just fired the people who had, the codes to the nuclear weapons. Well, first of all, Trump, the only person that got the code to the nuclear weapons, and he got it in a briefcase. And the code used to be 0000000. That was public knowledge if you don't know any of that. But I understand what you're saying. They moving fast. Are you trying to say they moving too fast? Well, I'm saying, they're being irresponsible. I need to make sure we're on the same page. Could you define what irresponsible in your mindset is? Well, they cutting all this, and you get them to define the meaning of things, because in our meaning and their meaning are two completely different things. You can't hold a conversation with a person if you don't have the exact meaning of their word. So us responsible means, via the dictionary, means you take care of, you held accountable for dealing with something, right? For them, being responsible could mean anything. And so you need to figure out what they're saying. It's like and this is where the conflicts come in conversations, because we're using the same words, but it's almost like it's alien language. And once you figure out what their words actually mean, then you can hold the conversation with the person. Until you figure out what those words mean to them, then you ain't holding no conversation. You're just talking to a brick wall. But once you know what his idea of responsibility is, and what his definition of responsibility is, then you can go on an attack of that definition. So if their definition of responsibility is doing stuff that they like, so, because Elon Musk for example, if they say, well, because Elon Musk is a billionaire and blah, 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 and we got billionaires in office making decisions for us. That's what the definition of responsibility is. That's how they relate it to it. It's not the true definition. They're talking about their feelings about a billionaire. And then you say, oh, I get it. So what you're saying is, it's not about being responsible. It's about the fact that he's a billionaire and he's unelected. Yeah, I don't like the fact that we got an unelected billionaire now. Oh, have you ever heard of Alexander Soros? Who is that? Well, that's George Soros' son, who was directly in the White House with Joe Biden, an unelected billionaire. That unelected billionaire wasn't saving you no money. He wasn't uncovering waste and fraud. And just say, hey, listen, there's always going to be billionaires in positions of power. Now, if your issue with billionaires is that they're in a position of power, then maybe, my friend, you spent your life doing the wrong thing. Maybe you should have been inspired to be a billionaire. But I'll take the good billionaire that's out here making sure that waste and fraud doesn't happen. And then I would explain to them how this waste and the fraud affects their lives and their children's lives and their grandchildren's lives. And after we get to that point, when I've said that, if you can't agree with that, then I have to walk away from the conversation. I have to let it be, because it just lets me know that you're brain dead. Because everybody can agree that they want their great grandchildren and grandchildren to be better off than they are. If we can't agree with that, and your politics, your emotions have taken you so far away from reality that you don't care about your own bloodline, then, brother, I don't know what else to tell you. Ain't nothing for me and you to talk about. For example, Doge drops $55 billion in savings. $55 billion in savings. No vague promises, no mystery, no math, just cold hard facts. Doge has slashed $55 billion in waste. $55 billion. Somebody may say, well, GW, that's because they got rid of the DEI programs and this and this is this. Hey, man, listen. This is how you handle that. And it's really, really easy. If there's a program that needs to help a certain community, then you need to go back and try and get the funds for the community on that program. But you can't for example, let's say for the black community, you don't want your program under DEI, because DEI has all this other wicked stuff with it. You don't need to be associated with that. Now, if there's something that you need for your community, you go to the government, you try and petition for them to give it for your community, to help your community. But don't be under the banner of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Don't be the tip of the spear where you go pierce the veil and then behind you comes all this wicked foolishness. No, go stand on your own. You was hoaxed into that whole thing. So to the right person with the right mind, no, it's a great opportunity, because they're saving. So there's money that they have to spend. They got to put money into communities. It's just how they're going to go about doing it. So while some people would be sitting there arguing and fighting and fussing and crying and whining, the smart person is saying, hey, how is this going to work in the future? The good nonprofit is saying, hey, how is this going to work in the future so I can be involved? You understand what I'm saying? You dig? But the dummy sits there and cries and whines. Now, I agree with John Kennedy on what the Democrats are dealing with right now. The Democratic Party is terrible. And they're going to have to finish their civil war inside their party and come to the realization that you cannot move forward with what you're doing. If you keep on trying to do what you're doing, you're going to be utterly decimated and destroyed. He says it like somebody from Louisiana would say it.
In terms of the Democrats, I've got a lot of friends who are Democrats, and they haven't asked me for advice, but if I did, I'd tell them, look, you just got to try harder not to suck. I mean, think about it. Over the past 4 years, the Democrats mismanaged Congress, they mismanaged COVID, they mismanaged the economy, they mismanaged inflation, they mismanaged the national debt, they mismanaged Afghanistan. More recently, in their opposition to President Trump and Mr. Musk, the Democrats have chosen to support the bureaucrats and the spending porn over the American taxpayer. Just like they support illegal immigration.
Over the American taxpayer.
Over the rule of law. Just like they support transgender athletes over women's sports. Just like they support Hamas terrorists over Israel. All Democrats are not like this, but the party is controlled right now by people who majored in online activism with a minor in puberty blockers. I know these people. They think men can breastfeed. They're triggered by race. They cry if you use the wrong pronoun. And most fair-minded Americans look at this and they go, these people are about 10 exits past normal. And that's what's killing the Democrats right now. Exactly.
And that look on his face is, I mean, you can't, it captures it all. It's gone so far down the road. And see, they refuse to fight the civil war that they need to fight within their party. They want to fight Donald Trump. You're not going to beat Donald Trump, because he represents the American people, and the American people are fed up with you. So the more you fight him, the more the American people are exposed to how crazy and backwards you are. And it's insane that they haven't taken a break to sit down and assess what went wrong and where they're off. The only person that's been trying to tell them what's going on is Jim Carvell. I mean, Jim is the only person. Wow, Jim Carvell. He been telling them just like it is. You need to sit down and shut up. You know what I'm saying? This is January 4th. Where you at, Jim? Here it is. Tell them the truth, Jim.
I'd say, bro, first of all, I totally agree with that.
I didn't mean to do that, guys. I'm sorry.
Agree with that person. It's very. I'd say, bro, first of all, I totally agree with that person. It's very depressing. But if you're doing political strategy, if you have an airplane crash, you got to go back and find out what went wrong.
Yep.
You don't say, well, let's just forget about it and
then
move
keep
on.
on moving on.
Was the flap set in the right setting, or, was there something that the pilot didn't pay attention to? I don't know, but it is sort of depressing. But Michael, there's a simple, basic rule of politics: is voters want an election about them. They don't want an election about you or your opponent. And for too much, we lost that. I lost it myself. We made it about Trump, and we didn't make it about voters. And it's never a good idea. And how could I, at 80 years old, been doing this for 50 years, lapse into that level of stupidity? I got to ask myself. But I think we did. And, let's learn from this. It's a disaster. I agree.
That you could tell that boy been sitting there getting drunk. Look at that background. That boy been sitting there getting tipsy. Everybody in the club get tipsy. Yeah, he been getting his drink on. Jim been getting his drink on. You wanna know why? Because they got devastated. But he's telling the truth. He's telling 100% truth. You won't sit here and instead of assessing the decisions you made. For example, you say you the Democratic Party and y'all support the black people. Y'all support the Negroids, right? But then you spent 4 years fighting for illegals. And nobody in the Democratic Party said, hey, excuse me, can I raise my hand right now and ask a question? Give my earbud back. Nobody said, I got a question for you. Excuse me, teacher. I got a question. There's a huge number of our constituents that are going to look at the fact that you're fighting so hard for illegal aliens and you're giving them money and all this other stuff, and you've never done anything like that for them. Don't you think that might be detrimental to our party? Don't you think that might be detrimental to the image of our party? And they may say, well, you don't know what you're talking about because of diversity, equity, and inclusion, we've done what we needed to do for the majority of the Negroid population. Excuse me, teacher. I understand the words you're using, the words coming out of your mouth. But, teacher, I was talking to Shakisha over there, and Shakisha told me that Maria, who came from Mexico, Maria has got $10,000 a month worth of food stamps, and Maria's getting $5,000 cash. And she trying to figure out how Maria got that money. And she ain't never seen no money like that. And Maria's got a housing voucher, and she moved in right next door to her. And Maria's brother got a loan from the SBA to get a food truck and start his own business. You don't think this is going to be detrimental to us as the party? No, I don't think it's going to be detrimental. What you got to understand is diversity, equity, and inclusion. It means we include the whole world, and we have to be an open society, and we need to look. Excuse me, teacher. Excuse me. I just want to say to you, teacher, that's a bunch of bull crap, and we gonna lose. That's all somebody had to say. Yeah, that's all somebody had to say, but ain't nobody say it. Nobody said it. And Jim just admitted he wasn't going to say it. You want to know why? Because y'all got demon possessed and y'all was so mad that Donald Trump was spanking y'all. Right, let's get Donald. Let's get Donald. You guys had a hard on for Donald Trump, man. And even this girl is saying it. It's a little quick segment, but she's going to say, Watch.
I was wrong to ever trust these people. It's like and many Democrats are opening up to this acceptance that they were wrong, they were misguided, they were lied to. And it's all this bait and switch. And that's what the party's been. And that's what, and nobody in their right mind can continue to support that.
Oh, and that's what's coming down the pipeline, baby. That's what's coming down the pipeline, baby. Yeah. So, let me stop giving y'all advice. You want my advice? Cut the check. Let me stop giving y'all free advice. I don't give y'all no more free advice. I'm just going to keep on making fun of you. Because you dumb. Crazy. Like, to the political strategists. Matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, there was somebody who said something about me personally down here in New Orleans. And the gentleman is a political strategist. And he watches the show. And he running his mouth. Yibba, 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 yibba. Yeah, James on that internet. And he's sitting there talking like he know. Trick. You just lost the election that you was running. You just got blown out. I'm boo. And how much money you charging people for no results? And now you on your way to Washington, D.C. for the Mardi Gras ball? Or you already went to Washington, D.C. for the Mardi Gras ball? You going to be up there? You're a dancing loser, boy. You's a dancing loser, boy. Go on up there and do the loser dance. Yeah, do the loser dance. That's what you going to do. You're going to learn today, though. You better ask them boys. Watch this. This is one of the things I'm most excited about that's going on right now, ladies and gentlemen. RFK Jr. vows nothing is going to be off limits in chronic disease investigation. Man, this is so important. This is so beautiful. RFK, can you tell us what's coming down the pipeline, sir?
Last Thursday, President Trump signed an executive order to establish the Maha Commission to study what has caused the precipitous decline in American health over the past 2 generations. So we will convene representatives of all viewpoints to study the causes for the drastic rise in chronic disease. Some of the possible factors we will investigate were formerly taboo or insufficiently scrutinized. The childhood vaccine schedule, electromagnetic radiation, glyphosate, other pesticides, ultra-processed foods, artificial food allergens, SSRI and other psychiatric drugs, PFAs, PFOAs, microplastics. Nothing is going to be off limits. Whatever belief or suspicion I have expressed in the past, I'm willing to subject them all to the scrutiny of unbiased science. That is going to be our template, unbiased science. That's something that will make us all proud of this agency and of our role in restoring American health. Let's commission research that will satisfy all the stakeholders once and for all. Let's use protocols that we all agree on in advance and not alter the outcomes of the studies when they're halfway through and that they look inconvenient. Let's all depoliticize these issues and reestablish a common ground for action and renew the search for existential truth with no political impediments and no preconceptions. Finally, I want to ask you to think about...
I'm about to give me a sign language character. I'm going to get my own sign language. I'm going to get AI to make me a sign language person. I'm going to put them right here on the bottom left of your screen underneath me. And my sign language character about to be wild as hell. Y'all about to see some stuff. I want my own sign language person. Let me get back on track. Yes, this is what we need. This is exactly what we need. We need somebody that's going to go back and find out what these people been doing, how they've been doing it, and then stop them. And more importantly, you see, if the effects of the various different chemicals in food and water are made publicly known to people, then, for example, atrazine, for example, fluoride, if it's made publicly known to people, And then people could look in the mirror and say, hold on, man, I work out every day and I can't lose weight because of what? They gonna go to their local government and say, hey, bro, do you have this in the water? Is there fluoride in our water? And they be like, yeah, you gonna take that out. Everybody gonna make them take it out. And that's just it. And boom, it changes like that. It's the reason why we need the truth. And once the truth is made known to people, everything else kind of takes care of itself. Now, I would like to see.
Last Thursday.
I'm sorry, Robert. I don't mean to disrespect you. I would like to see him come down hard on the people who've done these things in the past. Minimum, I want truth. Maximum, I want people in handcuffs, and I want them like hog tied and thrown in the back of the paddy wagon. Hit their face on the thing, and then blood be coming down their face, and they just like, I'm sorry, I did it to the people. I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't mean to do it. Now, I said yesterday we gonna know when things are changing when we see some things, and there's a certain people I was looking for to see them come out and talk. CNN is getting mega doses of truth nowadays, and they need it. Let's just keep it real. CNN are a bunch of clowns. They're getting mega doses of truth hitting them in the teeth, and they deserve it because they have been the tip of the spear of lies. They led the charge. They ran out with their swords and their shields and was like, let's get everyone. It's now they getting mega doses of truth. The first truth hit with the ratings dropping the way they did, but they're being forced to admit truth over and over and over. Watch, before we go to Kevin O'Leary, watch this one. Watch. This is CNN's panel. Watch.
Talk a little bit about Mitch McConnell and the chance he's going to become a folk hero. It ain't going to likely happen. Because I want you to look at his net approval ratings. He is underwater with everybody. He has got the ultimate, or some might say, sad trifecta of being underwater overall. Minus 39 points. 39 percentage points more of the electorate disapproves than approves of the jobs that he has done. How about Democrats? He's 58 points underwater. My goodness gracious, the chance that all of a sudden, just because he cast 3 votes against Trump, that he'd somehow become a folk hero with them is absolutely, frankly, insane. And then with Republicans, of course, he's gone up against Trump before, and that's why he's 17 points underwater with Republicans. When you're underwater with Democrats, Republicans, and overall, the chance that you're going to become a folk hero, it seems rather low to me, Paula.
And see, it's more than just this poll. It's not really about Mitch McConnell. Honestly, it really ain't. The poll is showing you the popularity of Donald Trump and the effect that he has on politicians and the effect of his presence. And more importantly, when you chunk down deeper, ladies and gentlemen, and you take Donald Trump out of the equation, because some people like, oh, you kiss Donald Trump, but no. What you got to understand is, if you take Donald Trump out of the equation, drop him over here for a little while, people don't trust those people in government. And it's a direct indictment on CNN itself. It's a direct indictment on you. The distrust that the people are showing to the politicians is one thing. The distrust they have in you is another, and it's on a whole nother level. Now let's pick Donald back up, move him back over here, put him back in the equation, and then add him in. He's the one that called y'all fake news in the beginning. The fake news, just rebranded y'all. Fake news, the fake news. And destroyed y'all. And the amazing thing about that attack was, all they had to do was stop lying. And they could have defeated him. But they were in between a rock and a hard spot. So if they stop lying and just tell the truth, and it's like, oh, well, he's whipped us into shape, and he can now say, well, CNN is not fake. Or if we keep lying, we're going to fight him, and then our constituents are going to help us fight against him. But it's one of those things where they didn't plan all the way to the end. When you plan all the way to the end of that scenario, and you sit down and you think about it, you say, well, if I keep lying to these people, and he keep calling me fake news, and I get caught in a lie, only thing it does is reinforce the fact that I was lying to him. So I need to stop lying. But they ain't learned that lesson yet. They ain't learned it, and that's why they're going to burn.
It does indeed. All right, of course, the next question is, how does his popularity compare with that of President Trump?
Yeah, so, I think Donald Trump will like these numbers. All right, so let's take a look. This is the net approval rating I got overall, and I got with Republicans. Look how much higher Donald Trump is overall versus Mitch McConnell. Look at
Bro, this dude's negative 39. You negative 39. Man, if we was outside negative 39 degrees, we would have a problem. You know what I'm saying? That's Arctic weather. A little wind chill with that, that's hypothermia. No wonder why Mitch McConnell be standing there like this. He started talking, because he hypothermic. His rating is hypothermic. He just freezing. That's why he freezes, because his rating is hypothermic. And you notice when he freezes, his damn eyes don't move. He just. That's what we gonna do. We gonna come up with this thing. Instead of the short bus to keep y'all from cutting out so late, we gonna start doing the Mitch McConnell. I'm just gonna start talking, and I'm just gonna say Mitch McConnell. Oh my goodness! Oh my!
Trump is on the positive side of the ledger at +3. Mitch McConnell, of course, underwater overall at -39. So Trump is 42 points higher than Mitch McConnell is overall. Among Republicans, of course, Donald Trump very popular there with a +82 point net approval rating. Of course, Mitch McConnell, again, underwater at -.
He's still hypothermic with his own party hypothermic.
17. So you do the math quickly here. 82, 17. That is nearly 100 points higher that Donald Trump is net approval rating wise with Republicans than Mitch McConnell is. The bottom line is that when it comes to the popularity battle, Donald Trump comes out way, way, way ahead of Mitch McConnell.
Now, can somebody tell me this guy's an Illuminati? Because anytime somebody postures their hands this way, which is how you're taught in classes of influence, how you're supposed to hold your hands to show that you're confident. Anytime you do this, it means that you're in the Illuminati. Did he look like he a member to the Illuminati to you? Do he look like he got his Illuminati membership card? No, he don't look like he got no Illuminati membership card. He just look like a dude that's telling the news, and this is how you hold your hands. I get so sick, and I'm just gonna tell you, I get so sick and tired of every time somebody holds their hands, and it's people of influence. This is training that you get. There's photos of me, old photos of me, doing like this. I don't mean I'm in no damn Illuminati. It's just the way you hold your hands, because you don't want to give off the wrong signal, so your hands are neutral. If your hand's in your pocket, people think you got something to hide. If your hand's moving back and forth, they think you're nervous. If your hands is in your top pocket, you look like you're crazy. You want to talk to somebody like this? Let's say if I walked up to you and I was holding a conversation with you, and I was like, "Yeah, man, how you doing today? You doing all right?" Yeah. You come like, "Man, why your hand in your pocket? What you want people to do with their hands? What if I had my hand like this the whole time I was talking to you? Oh, worst case scenario, if I was standing in front of you like this. If I'm looking at you like this, we got a problem. You see what I'm saying? But it's like, at some point in time, I don't know what the hell that is. At some point in time, the knowledge of occultism has overtaken, the knowledge of recognizing occultism is overtaken common damn sense. You got to use some common sense. Everybody that hold their hand a certain way ain't the devil. That's like I started thinking of Alex Jones, and they call Alex Jones had his fingers, I don't even know how to do this. Was it like this? He had his hands like this, and it was like Alex Jones is the devil. And they had another video where acts like this, and he's the devil. Come on, man. Sit down with the foolishness. That's what you need to tell people. Calm down. Calm down.
Okay.
You want to know what a person doing? Go look and see what they're saying and what they're doing. Don't take a snapshot and make a decision on a person, because that's all you doing is acting like CNN. That's what CNN do. They take a soundbite. CNN would take something I said 10 years ago and then turn around and say, "Oh, well, he said this about women." Take it completely out of context and then say, "I hate women." That's what you doing when you take that little snapshot of somebody with their fingers in a certain direction and then run with it. So if I got my fingers like this, what that mean? I could have been popping my knuckle at that point in time, but you turn it into something nasty. I'm popping my thumb knuckle. Come on, man.
Okay. But is this just a problem with majority leaders? Is this like a heavy is the head situation? I mean, put this into historical context. Where does he stack up against other majority leaders?
Yeah, I always like going through the history books, right? I love spreadsheets. I love history books. So let's go take a look through the history books. We'll take a look at the net popularity ratings
Damn,
of
McConnell.
GOP Senate leaders, their final ratings as majority leaders. Take a look here. Mitch McConnell, again, underwater at minus 39 points.
Turtle Man doing bad.
Dr. Bill Frist from the great state of Tennessee. He was underwater, too. But he was only
Damn
at minus
elderly
8 points.
teenage
Trent
mutant
Lott
ninja
was at plus
turtle.
5 points from the great state of Mississippi. And, of course, Bob Dole from the great state of Kansas. He was above water as well at plus 6 points. So the bottom line is Mitch McConnell, a historical anomaly when it comes to Republican leaders. He is far, far, far more underwater than any of the past GOP leaders over the last 40 years, Paula.
Listen, Mitch McConnell's about to go the way of the dodo bird. Sorry. He frozen. He should star in the movie Frozen. Now, the whole purpose of me showing you that, because I got off track, I'd be wild and saying crazy stuff. The whole purpose of me showing you that was to show you that not only is the opponents of Donald Trump, are they frozen, like literally like Mitch McConnell, but the media is frozen as well in this open season on them. And here we go. This is when you start getting that open season.
I think the issue is they're not whacking enough. There's this concept in private equity when you get a bankrupt company and you go in there, you cut 20% more than your initial read. And then you find like a pool of mercury, the organization gels back together again. Always cut deeper, harder when there's fat and waste. The FAA, it's not the people. The code is cobalt. It's from the 60s. It needs CapEx put into it for the technology to be upgraded to make it safer. Fat like a chicken. All of these agencies are like big fat chickens dripping over barbecues of fat. This is the best barbecue I've ever seen, but I don't think it's happening fast enough. They're not cutting enough. Keep slashing, keep hacking while you have a 24-month mandate before the midterms. Cut, more cutting. Believe me, it's going to work out just great. Everybody.
Now, this is the billionaire on the panel, by the way. Everybody else on this panel, ain't nobody no billionaire, and don't nobody run a business but that one right there. So this is what amazes me about, if I'm ever on a show like this, I'm not about to try and contend with O'Leary on this. It's dumb to contend with him on this. You don't have a leg to stand on, right? So this is the time where James Williams is sitting there, and he's silent. And they said, well, James, what do you have to say about that? I'm not the billionaire. He is. What? No. That's a billionaire right there. What I'm going to tell a billionaire he's wrong? And then I'll segue it to something else. You're not about to make a fool out of James Williams. No, hell no. You ain't going to make no fool out of me. No, that not happening. Because he's the billionaire. You see what I'm saying? But watch.
People with the nuclear codes, cut them too.
See what I'm saying? Instead of just accepting the counsel of the billionaire, she says, what if even the nuclear codes, you're going to cut them too? And look at the look on his face. Like, you dumb, ignorant trick. What does this have to do with anything I'm saying? And see, Kevin, I'm going to tell you something, brother. I respect you. I like you. You shouldn't be on CNN in the first place. What the hell are you doing on CNN, Kevin? What does it benefit you to go on CNN other than to be attacked and set yourself up to say the wrong thing with a bunch of idiots? And Kevin, you put yourself in a bad situation because the minute you decide to leave CNN, they're going to go crazy with all their people and be like, Kevin O'Leary is the devil. Rah. You shouldn't have been on that in the first place, Kevin. You got enough money where if you really wanted to make an impact, you should have just launched your own news brand. But I don't understand why you did it, but whatever. Maybe.
Cut everything. Because if you don't see what they're doing and they can't show you that they're adding value, you whack.
But
it's not clear that they're even asking people to show us what you're doing. Again, this was a story Friday, and literally Elon said, oops, we gotta rehire them because nobody knows how to do what these people know how to do.
Yeah, the nuclear thing. Okay, gets it wrong once in a while. Big deal. So what?
I agree with that. Exactly what James was saying. Big deal. So what? Nobody knew what they was doing. I hired the guy back. Shut up. We moving on to the next thing.
10% of the time.
It's okay. I actually think it's okay if they run into a stumble here or there because the project is so massive. The need to cut is so massive. The government is so massive. It's inconceivable that you wouldn't make a mistake here or there.
See, and this is where y'all wrong. I'm sorry, guys. This is what I do. I wouldn't be arguing the right or wrong. You just let them shift the narrative onto something that they can win on. You notice they couldn't win against Kevin O'Leary. And so now they've switched the conversation towards a mistake that was made for making a cut. And Kevin handled it the right way. So what? I would have just kept on hammering away my point. So what? He made a mistake. Would you rather focus on the fact that they made a mistake, or let's talk about the fact that $4.2 trillion left the U.S. Treasury and went into a phantom ghost hole? In fact, Freddy Krueger popped up in somebody's dream and ran away with $4.2 trillion. Can we talk about that? As opposed to a person being fired and then rehired? A mistake uncorrected is an error. A mistake corrected, we just walk past that. And boom, I will just keep on hammering them and hammering them and hammering them and hammering them and hammering them. Quit playing with these people like this, man.
But I think that's acceptable if the greater goal is achieved, which is a smaller government, more efficient government. Trim the fat.
Even if someone dies, or even if someone, because
Are
we're
you
talking
alleging?
about,
See what I'm saying? You just fed into it. Even if someone dies, Trick, who died? Who died? I can't wait. I'm almost there. I'm almost there, ladies and gentlemen. I got a couple more things to do. I'm almost done with this rebranding, and I'm gonna start bringing people on, and you'll understand what I'm saying. Because it just kind of this don't make no sense. Who died? Who is dead? That's why I said, who's dead? I would just stop there. Even the people, name the dead person that had to do with this firing. Is anybody here aware of someone dying yesterday? What was that, yesterday? Did somebody die yesterday as it pertains to the nuclear codes? And then when she says, well, no one died but this. No. Don't swing it in the other direction. Your point was, even if somebody dies, but nobody's dead. Well, people died in a plane crash. So you saying the plane crash with people dying? You mean the one where the helicopter flied into the people? Well, we had the girl who worked in the Biden administration was the pilot of the helicopter. Is that what we're talking about? What you do is you just hammer them with truth. I mean, just zang. And every time they try and shift you towards something else, punch them in the mouth again. It don't matter. It's a fist fight with words.
Someone has died from this?
I don't.
Exactly. Do you know someone who's died from this? Thank you, sir.
Even if someone dies, or even if someone, because
Are
we're
you
talking
alleging
about,
that someone has died from this?
we don't know. I'm talking about when the.
See, if only thing you could have did, and look at that smug look on Scott's face. Watch him. Perfect, Scott.
Government, more efficient government.
Even if
trim the fat.
Even if someone dies, or even if someone, because
Are
we're
you
talking
alleging
about,
that someone has died from this?
we don't know. I'm talking.
Scott is like, are we alleging that someone died from this? I don't know. You should have hit her right back. You should have hit her again and again and again and again. Listen, whatever. Let's say her name is Kelly. She says, I don't know. I understand, Kelly, you don't know. You liberals tend not to know. Let me tell you something that's going on. $4.2 trillion went missing from the U.S. Treasury. Did the CNN audience know about the $4.2 trillion that went missing under the Biden administration? 4.2 trillion, not billion, not million, trillion dollars. Would you like to talk about that? And then watch the look on her face. Like, her face is gonna be like, holy crap. He's going for my jugular vein. Cover my neck. Don't bite my jugular, please, Doc Waters. Leave it alone. I'm sorry.
Talking about when the rubber meets the road. I'm talking about, for example, Kansas City. 30,000 government employees might be laid off. It will destroy the economy of Kansas City. That's okay.
Why do you say?
Yes, it's okay. And this is what you got. Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm reading what the individuals from Kansas City have been saying, that they're very concerned.
What do you think they're going to say when they're going to get whacked?
Of course they're going to say that, but my point is,
He said,
do we
who's
think
they're
that's
gonna say
smart
that?
to live in an American city just go under?
How many American cities need a massively oversized federal government to stay afloat? I mean, isn't that said more about the city than the government?
But when did we get to the point where presidents are measuring themselves by how many people they put out of work instead of how many people they get jobs for?
Not a moment too soon.
Yeah,
this
is crazy.
Soon.
This is
Because the government.
Is it me? Or does it look like that brother's made of makeup? Is it me? Or does it look like he's made of makeup or made of chocolate? I'm serious. It looked like that boy made of milk chocolate. Yeah. I ain't never seen no skin like that, man. I think they put makeup all over this man. Everywhere. That's wild. Go ahead, brother. If you got perfect skin like that, man, I commend you. But I think they put makeup on everything. I ain't never seen them put makeup on a bald head. That's crazy.
Only ever gets bigger.
Let me go back. Let's go back to the sparring. I'm sorry, guys. I love the sparring. I hope you like the sparring. Don't get Mitch McConnell. Y'all can't leave me because I'm going Mitch McConnell. All right, let me get back focused. Nah, Kevin O'Leary in whatever this guy's name is, I just said his name, just spiked her. So here he comes with the dumbest thing on the planet, talking about a president who created jobs as opposed to cutting jobs.
A massively oversized federal government to stay afloat. I mean, isn't that says more about the city than the government?
But when did we get to the point where presidents are measuring themselves by how many people they put out of work instead of how many people they get jobs
Not a moment too soon.
Yeah,
this
is crazy.
Soon.
This is absolutely
because the government only ever gets
big
bigger,
fat chickens.
never
Hopefully, they lay some eggs, and maybe then we can afford it.
No.
Now, what I would say is I would laugh at him and I would say, wow. I mean, that's a great point. Traditionally, presidents are judged by the number of jobs that they create. I mean, man, what do we say to something like that? How about the fact that we've been sending billions of dollars to the Ukraine for a war? Who's being employed with the money that we sending all over the planet? And if you want to talk about jobs, how about the fact that under the last administration, they opened the borders wide open, and so many illegal aliens came over here that every time ICE raids a factory, that the factory is damn near closed down. And so inherently, by him being in office and doing this ICE raid, he's actually creating jobs. It just, the data hasn't been captured yet. But I know you don't know this, Milk Dud, because you're on TMB. You're on CNN, Milk Dud. You look great, by the way.
No,
Oh my goodness, I shouldn't say those kind of things. I'll never make it on TV with this kind of behavior. Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. I am so happy that this thing right here ain't the president of the United States. Let us listen to and see this bullet that we all dodged. We dodged the bullet. Jesus, you saved us. For real. I ain't joking. You saved us. Because we dodged the bullet with this one. Listen to this foolishness. You got to hear it.
For those rights to be maintained, which means we have to be vigilant, and it's just the nature of it.
Why she always look drunk?
Look what this beautiful play and everything that we know he was suppressed. He had to suppress so much, but he knew, and he took those risks. But we have to be clear-eyed, and it doesn't mean we don't see the beauty in everything, right? These things all coexist.
Is Shawty high or drunk? Look at this. And look at him looking at her in the background. Look at him looking at the camera. What's wrong with her?
But I believe we fight for something, not against something.
That's the word.
Right. And that's our optimism, right?
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. With that.
Look at all these clowns. And it's almost like she's doing some of that snap poetry. You know how they be talking? And everybody starts snapping for the person. And I believe we fight for something. Watch this. We're going to turn the volume down. We're going to read her words like we had a poetry center. Watch this. Let me go back to the beginning. Watch this. For those rights to be maintained, which means we have to be vigilant. It's just, look at the beautiful play and everything that he was suppressed. He had to suppress so much. But who knew when you look, those risks have to be a clear eye and what? You mean, what are you saying? Maybe the captions get no. That's how she talk.
So much.
But who knew when you took
He took those
risks? But we have to have a clear eye. A clear eye.
Clear eye.
And doesn't.
And it doesn't mean we don't see the beauty in everything.
Doesn't mean everything. What? Doesn't mean you don't see the beauty in everything.
Right? These things all coexist. But I believe we fight for something, not against something.
Yes. The word.
Right. And that's our optimism.
And that's our optimism.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah. That's our optimism. Yeah. What the hell? How did this woman get? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my. Before I started rapping, if you heard my story, I bet you'd be like, oh my goodness. All right, let's let it go. Now, let's get to some strange things. I don't believe this is AI, but look at that thing right there.
Alan is going to bring
Turn that. Whoa.
up next. What is that flying in the air? It's a
What is that? What is that thing? Yeah, that's why that was caught on live news. And more importantly, let's just talk for a second about the nuclear codes. All right, let's go back to what they were saying about the nuclear codes and what we've heard disclosed about the person who had the nuclear code. So if this individual right here, if you saw this individual right here with some, they didn't even say nuclear codes, but he was working in a nuclear program. But if this individual right here walked up to you and said, I work in the nuclear program and I got access to nukes, how would this make you feel?
Hello, Council. Remember me from last week? Oh, you don't remember me from last week? Could it be because gender is a construct? I'm Anna. Been a Worcester resident for 24 years. Tonight, I'm coming to you as Laddie LaRouge, otherwise known as Lady LaRouge. Tonight, I'm Laddie. When I'm in drag, I use he, they pronouns. And I am
and I have access to the nuclear bombs, and I use he, they bomb buttons, and I'm so frustrated because every time I press these nuke buttons, they're not really gender neutral. And when I try and press the bombs to make everybody blow up and die, there need gender neutral bomb buttons.
proud and loud queer artist in the city.
I can't watch this. You give me a headache because you got a demon in you, and I ain't got time to be playing with them demons. This is something I want to touch on. I think I touched on this yesterday, but I think it's very important people understand this. Breaking: Israel Air Force has successfully targeted and eliminated Mahad Shaheen, who led Hamas organization operations in Lebanon. It's a bad time to be a terrorist. I'm just going to keep it real with you. If you just so happen to stumble upon this video and use a terrorist somewhere, because I got people all over the world that watch me, you need to retire. It's a bad time to be a terrorist. Come back later. You had the good days. Happy days was here for you with Joe Biden, and everything was all right. This is a bad time to be a terrorist. It's a bad time to be a terrorist, bad time to be a drug dealer, bad time to be a smuggler. It's a bad time to be a lot of things. You understand? This is the time where you go sit down. Go inside and sit down. I'm trying to tell you. Because these people ain't playing with nobody. Nah, we just finished watching Harris. I wanted to show y'all this yesterday. So we got a group of turkeys circling around a grave that has Harris on it. And when I first saw this, I was like, hold on. Let me think. I read the Bible a few times back and forth. Know a few scriptures. I said, what does bird signify in the scripture? I don't. If it ain't in the Bible, I don't be trying to use it as for disseminating information, understanding events. And then I realized there's two types of things that birds are referenced to. Destruction is one, and the other one is salvation. And when we look at what happened to Harris, it seems to me like she's circling around destruction right now. Then we go back and look at what we saw her doing just a few minutes ago, where she was like, "This is our optimism." I think it's a sign. Some bad things going on with Kamala. I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? There was talk about Kamala running for governor of California. I don't see how. Like, after the demonstration that Kamala gave on the national stage, if the state of California decided to vote for Kamala as governor, bruh, I don't know what to tell y'all. Y'all don't got fires. Right now, y'all got floods. Y'all know they flooding, right? Y'all didn't know that. Watch this. LA floods. Right now, they flooding. Make sure that's them. Now, I don't think this is the whole of LA, but someplace in LA flooding. How that happened, I don't know. I don't know. But you got fires and you got floods. Don't you think somebody doing something wrong? I mean, you gotta think to yourself. Somebody around here doing something wrong. Mudslides, floods. I mean, you really gotta think to yourself. Somebody doing something wrong. And if we hearken back a little bit to the Joker Smile, Karen Bass. Remember, she was like, "I've seen the devastation." I'm Karen Bass. I've seen the devastation. Mr. President, you've seen the devastation. And then when she started talking about the rain that was coming and the mudslides that would happen, it was almost like she was having some type of orgasm. Yeah. You would think that if you was in California and you knew how to party, California knows how to party. I seen that on GTA, that little location right there. But you would think you would say to yourself, man, we might need to reevaluate the optimism that we have right now. Because this is our current optimism. This flood is our current optimism. These fires is our current optimism. We might need to reevaluate our current optimism and come up with some new options for optimism in the governmental structure of the state of California. Something got to give, man. You got too much bad stuff happening back to back to back to back to back to back to back. And they just spent, I think they just proved what, 50 million, 100 million to take care of illegals. Come on, man. Something got to give. Is that a flood or is that a broken water main? No, that's the floods, man. Look at this. Something got to give, Cali. Something got to give, homie. And the craziest thing is, I'm pretty sure you can find somebody in California that said Gavin Newsom is doing a wonderful job, and the reason why their houses are flooded and the fire started is because of Donald J. Trump. Never mind the fact that they didn't have no water, and now they got more water than what they need. Couldn't get no rain when it was time when you need to put a fire out. Couldn't get no rain when it's time to put the fire out, but you got all the water you need right now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, my Lord. Look at all this water. Yeah, I told y'all to keep watching that water in California. Man. That's wild. Hey, stop it with the music. Y'all always want to use the music. Just let it play. Heavy flooding in Melrose, Los Angeles after torrential rains. Bruh. You would think that you would think that these people would get it. You think that they would get it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I see y'all in the morning. It's been a great show. Just many more things that I could cover. But this is all I feel like covering right now. I'll cover some more later.